Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. And today I've almost lost my voice. I've been fighting a cold for a little while now, but it's just kind of really taken hold to my voice. But we have big business to talk about. This is the 1988 1 hour and 38-minute long film starring Lily Tomlin and Bette Midler, and a pretty decent cast beyond them, but they are definitely the centerpieces of this. It is the story of two sets of twins that are separated at birth. It sounds overly complicated, and it kind of is. It's a farce. It's meant to be. It's one of those classic old farce type mistaken identity comedies that you would get, but with two women who are no stranger to comedy and no stranger to physical comedy as well. And even so, even if you know the premise and how it's all going to work out, or it's still at times I almost lose track of who is who, because they are. I mean, to their credit, yes, it's only two actresses playing four people, but they do such a good job at differentiating themselves. But at other times, showing that naturally both versions of these women, of the twins, share a lot of common sensibilities, expressions. This is definitely a nature versus nurture type of examination. Not anything serious, of course. It's a comedy. Just to give you an idea of how this all starts, I'm not going to give away the ending. Odds are most people have not seen this. I have not seen this. By the way, it ends with Higher Love, the pop song from the 80s. Why can't I say the name of the artist? I had it in my head like a minute ago. Anyway, I wonder if that's the first time that song was heard, but yeah, it plays over the end of the film into the credits. Speaking of which, you do want to stay through part of the credits anyway. There's a few more comedic bits that are thrown in at the very end. But for the most part, we are introduced to a couple in the 1930s who are very pregnant. They're driving along a back road, and in the middle of West Virginia, for reasons that will be explained later. Well, I think they're trying to get somewhere, but they're not about to make it before she's about to give birth, and they end up stopping in a place called Jupiter's Hollow. And Jupiter's Hollow happens to be pretty much as backwoods as you can get in the 1930s. Well, actually, no, considering it's Appalachia, you can get more backwoods because there's running water in some of the buildings. So in order to, but there's no real hospital around that can't be used by just anybody passing through. It has to be, it can only be used by people who are employees of a certain company. So the premise is the rich people who happen to be driving through that small town who need to help the woman give birth. The father just buys the company. And of course, at the same time, another couple who is local to Jupiter's Hollow has a pair of daughters as well as the rich couple. And in a thing you can see coming a mile away, because they punctuate it in a kind of humorous way, involving a urine sample and apple juice. This is definitely not a safe Disney type movie. It's a pretty mature movie in many ways. It is not, what do you call it? It's not a Disney movie. It's a Touchstone, Buena Vista kind of thing. It's a Touchstone film. So it's definitely made for adult audiences, but I think older children might get a kick out of it, but still not get some of the jokes. Some of the jokes are pretty racy. But yeah, it's a good, solid romp, and it's, like I said, it's a matter of keeping track of everybody coming and going and seeing who's going to come in contact with each other first. Of course, at the same time, they have men in their lives, each of them, or potential men in their lives, and there's also people who are trying to serve their needs. Okay, let me back up just a bit, because once those babies are born and mixed up by the inept nurse, my voice is going, we jump ahead about 50 years, almost 50 years, about 40 something. It's the late 80s, of course. And you know what? This is a comedy starring two iconic actresses and comedians. These days, I can't imagine that somebody would make. Well, okay, these days, yeah, you can. There's more and more happening, but it'd be an independent film. But a major blockbuster type film with two women in their 40s is kind of surprising. I mean, this movie got made on their star power, obviously. But most of the time, if somebody's going to pitch a movie like this, it's going to be somebody that's at most in their mid-20s. And they'll be just the hottest thing in the world. And then they'll have those two actresses. When they remake this, it will not be a 50-year span between mixing them up and revisiting them later. But actually, it's kind of necessary so that that they be this age, I realize. I'm not being ageist at all. I'm just saying that it's just the way movies are made. It has to work. The only way this works is if the parents are gone for both sets of twins. And never mind the fact that they know they're twins, but they don't look anything like each other. Fraternal. But the parents have to be gone. And in the case of the ones who live in New York City, they run their father's business. And what brings them together is a sudden clash between the big business twins, and the ones who are fighting for their small town not to lose jobs and everything else that would happen when the business twins decide that, hey, we're going to just shut down whatever's going on at that business that my dad bought in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia, and we're going to strip mine it for whatever we want. And so they're fighting against that. But they don't know who each other is. They're not aware of who's running the company. They're not aware that anybody's fighting against it. And they just happen to be the same pair of women. And whereas Bette Midler is the more intense, bossy, business-like in New York City, Lily Tomlin plays the more focused, intent on saving the town. And she is much more, just like I said, intense than her counterpart, who in New York is a bit more flighty, just like Bette Midler is a bit more flighty and kind of wants to see the big city. And New York City Lily Tomlin kind of wants to live a simpler life with sweet dogs and just she's kind of bleeding heart and wants to help people. So yeah, there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of nature versus nurture kind of commentary in the sense, but certainly not a scientific situation here. Not to take any of this seriously. Oh, well, that this movie had this to say about nature versus nurture. Well, we should take that as proof of how people are raised, or is the way that, or how people are born. Where people are born is how it determines who they are as people. Yeah, it's just fun. So I highly recommend this. I didn't expect to really like it. It's not like I'm a huge, I know that I know the women are iconic, and everybody knows Bette Midler from the Disney people anyway, from Hocus Pocus, but some people may not know Lily Tomlin as much. She's been all over the place, but she has a very different career than both of them, but are iconic. So they don't really just say, oh, you know what, Lily Tomlin's in a movie or Bette Midler's in a movie, I'm going to go see that. That's just not my forte. That's not my taste. But yeah, I was surprised. I really liked it. It was fun. It was silly. Again, like I said, it's a farce. It's meant to just mess with your expectations and just see those split-second moments where they just miss each other. And of course, the big reveal I'm not spoiling anything by saying this. At some point, they have to find each other. At some point, they have to come face to face. And how they come face to face, well, yeah, you can expect. This is the only thing I'm going to spoil, which really shouldn't come as any surprise whatsoever. When you have these separated at birth kind of situations, like twins and stuff, that whole, is it a mirror or is it someone mimicking me exactly kind of situations, yes, that is in the film. If that's just too dumb for you, well, you might want to skip the film. But yeah, it's an old thing. It probably goes back to vaudeville, silent films as well. Who knows? It goes back. It's a tried and true. Is that a mirror? Or is that somebody who looks just like me? Yeah, it happens in this film. So yeah, it's a good time. I say check it out if you get a chance. And yeah, let's see if it'll load up. Okay, good. Oh, when I reset this, hopefully it didn't wipe away any of my numbers, but we'll see. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 62. I'm keeping this kind of short. Well, it's still 11 minutes so far. Just because my voice is just not great. 62. What? I don't know if this is still on, because we are out of the season. I'm going to check. It's not really a short, but it's a special, and that falls into this color category for me. But because we're out of the season, this might have already been pulled from Disney+. I'd be very surprised if this is still on here. And I can tell you right now, I'm not really looking forward to watching it. But we'll see. Thing picked it. That's what I do. 62 is CMA Country Christmas Special. Not kidding you. Not kidding you at all. Hey, when I put everything on the list, whether I like it or not, it is what it is. You know, I have to watch it if it's still on there. So I'm gonna tell you right now that if I don't return immediately after saying this to pick another number, well, we're watching the CMA Country Christmas Special on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. Maybe I'll see you in a second. Maybe I won't. Bye.